Yeah, it's a special connection. Let's put it that way.
I was bitten by the safari bug.
So you both have such different strengths. How do you make that dynamic work?
Gin and tonics.
Okay, let's get going.
Kyle, let's start at the beginning. Where did your love for the wild actually begin?
Yo, I mean, my earliest memories of being in the wild come from great memories growing up, going to the Kruger National Park on family holidays. I think the first time I was in Kruger National Park, I must have been about 2 years old. Definitely don't remember that. But since then, I remember countless school holidays, especially December time, going to the park with my family all the way through my high school years, junior school years, was something that we just felt like on repeat, and I loved it. So that passion really grew being exposed to the bush from an early age and going to the Kruger National Park with my family. I think another moment that stands out for me in this whole interest journey with wildlife and conservation comes from early recordings on tape that my grandfather used to tape off of TV way back when on VHS, which is a special core memory for me on that. And, watching Eye of the Leopard way back then, amazing. Just being exposed to wildlife through documentaries on VHS way back when is a core memory for me.
Jen, how did you first fall in love with Africa and safari travel?
My first trip to Africa was in March 2019, and I traveled with my parents, and we did South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and a little bit of Zambia. And it was a really good way to get introduced to African safari. We did boat safaris, we did vehicle safaris. It was just a lot of fun. And after that trip, I was bitten by the safari bug.
You've done everything from golfing, traveling, guiding to photography. What pulled you into those worlds?
The love of nature, the protection of these wild places, the conservation aspect really pulled me in. Education. I've always lived by the form that we do what we do here at SafariSmiths purely off the fact that we want to educate through conservation as well. We want to educate everybody out there on why tourism to these places is so important and why, we look at it from that perspective as to help out with the education of people and understanding these wild places. So it's a big driver for me of getting involved in this and why I became a guide as well. And then the golf side of it is I figured I was traveling to some pretty beautiful places and wanted to share that with people. And I have a huge passion for sports. I've been lucky enough to watch a couple international sporting events and been able to see things like the NFL and professional golf and stuff like that, and figured, with my privileged standpoint where I can sit today and look at it from this way is that I get to share these places with you guys, get to share content, and I just have a passion for making sports content because of that passion for sports.
What made you take the leap into this world?
Well, I would have to say his name is Kyle Smith. I met Kyle in 2019 when we were in South Africa on safari. He was our safari guide, and we hit it off and decided to do some traveling together. He decided to do some freelance photography guiding, and we just sort of went from there and explored a lot of different areas.
When you're out on safari, how does it make you feel?
There aren't words for that kind of feeling. I think I've been able to experience some pretty incredible stuff in my life. Okay, wait, you gotta stop. Being out on safari is not only that sense of freedom, I guess, and adventure, but it's that true connection back to the natural world. And, for someone like me, I think it's a sense of peace for the soul. It's a special connection. Let's put it that way.
How many safaris do you think you've done? Can you count?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was very lucky during COVID that there were places in Africa, East Africa to be specific, that were open to do safaris. So I spent a lot of time during 2020 and even 2021 really exploring Tanzania. We did the mountain gorillas, chimpanzee trekking. It was really good. So I would say maybe 15 to 20 different safaris by now. It's been a lot.
What's been one of your most unforgettable or unexpected moments out in the bush?
Oh, there's been many. One of the funnier, most unexpected moments I can recall that I'll never be able to forget is seeing the big boss Jen, the CEO of the company, fly into bushes being pushed by a gorilla. It was a good one. Those safari moments out there are, yeah, also from the wildlife sense, seeing melanistic animals and the rare stuff out there, like the black leopards of northern Kenya, the melanistic serval of the Serengeti, gorillas, chimps. You can't really highlight one.
Out of those safaris, do you think you have a favorite?
I really love the northern Serengeti, not for the actual migration itself, but I love all of the boulders, the rocks. There's tons of leopards, lions. There's so much to do there outside of the migration that I feel like that's a very holistic place to go visit to get a really good sense of what the Serengeti offers.
Do you remember the exact conversational moment where you said, let's do this?
I don't think there was an exact right on the cocktail napkin at the bar moment for this. I think the more trips that we did together, the more we thought, hey, we can do this better. We're building all these relationships and we can be more cost effective for our clients and still have luxury. So I think that's sort of what we figured we can do the trips that we were going on ourselves. So why not try?
Yeah, I fully agree.
You agree?
Much else to put to that, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your vision and experience you want for every SafariSmiths traveler to have?
Everybody's going to go and say things like, those memories that last a lifetime, I guess. But I think the true meaning of going on something like that is to find yourself. And even if you're with your family and so on, is to connect with something that's more than your daily life and routine, to see how animals and plants and the seasons interconnect, and to take you back to what it truly is to be a human and be here. And that's to give our all to protect these wild places and look after them. So I would like people to take away from these trips that they feel, one, very educated, two, they have a sense of passion for wildlife after experiencing a trip with SafariSmiths. And then also to connect with people that live in those environments, like those traditional cultures out there. It's to experience something that takes you out of your comfort zone at times as well. And that might be in the lap of luxury at a 5-star tented camp, but you might not feel comfortable hearing hyenas in the distance for the first time. So to get something different out there and, to experience the ever-changing world that we live in.
SafariSmiths has such a distinct feel. It's luxury, but also very grounded and real. How do you make that balance work?
I would say that the safari camps we pick to send our guests on can often be in very remote areas where you are really one with nature. But at the same time, the camp itself is luxurious with nice showers, amazing food, really comfortable beds. So you can actually have luxury safari and still be authentic to the safari experience.
How do you make sure each trip feels like more than just a holiday, something that really stays with people?
From my side, I like to see it from the fact that we really immerse you within the environment that you are visiting. So the culture of the local people, the culture of the conservation projects within that area, and then also the experience that you're going to get wherever you visit. So it's that immersion with being in that environment for me.
I feel like going on safari automatically is going to stay with you because it's such a different type of vacation. I don't think you can actually go on safari without it changing you, from just the sounds of being out on a safari drive or sleeping in your tent and the animals are moving around your tent and making their noises and you're not sure what's actually going on. And the connections with the camp staff. So I just feel like it's a unique experience that's just going to stay with you.
Guiding must come with some challenges. What's one you'll never forget?
Oh man, I changed a lot of flat tires. A lot of flat tires. At one stage, I remember doing an afternoon game drive, and yeah, you quickly learn how to change a flat tire when you've got to do it with a vehicle full of guests. And so I'd say another challenge is trying to get people to get along. Often people from different backgrounds don't get along, whether it be politically, in whichever way you want to look at it. Sometimes people just don't connect. So I think being a peacemaker is one of those memories, and bringing people together from different backgrounds and seeing them leave as friends.
What are the little details you obsess over to make sure a trip feels truly personal?
We really take into account what our clients are looking for in a trip, whether it's a safari, a beach getaway, a golf trip. And we make sure that those little details that they're looking for actually happen in their trip. I would say that our relationships with the properties that we send people to, we can call the camp manager, and if there's a special occasion, we can have them do something special. There are a lot of different ways that we use the relationships that we build with the camps that we send our clients to.
You work closely with local guides and communities. What's most important to you in those relationships?
For me, it's what they get out of it is the sustainability of those areas, to ensure that, you know, we're not just encroaching on people's livelihoods through conservation, but we're including them within it to ensure the sustainable upkeep of the industry.
That they benefit from tourism, I think, is the bottom line.
Yeah.
So when we're booking our trips, we need to make sure we're using companies that are benefiting the local communities through tourism dollars.
You and Jen bring different strengths. What's your superpower in SafariSmiths?
I bring the crazy. I think we go out there. There's the set format that we want to go after, and I'd like to challenge those boundaries. I'd say my superpower that I bring is a lot of creativity. I love my photography. I love challenging myself on those boundaries and pushing those boundaries out there. I love exploring super wild, crazy places. So I like to put myself out there to really experience what you at home and going on our trips would experience on there. So I like to push the boundaries for the company. I always think we can achieve more, and I bring that creativity. I would say another superpower that I have as well is I connect really well with people. So I go out there to make as many relationships as possible. Getting to know everybody from the housekeeper to the CEO of the company is important to me, because everybody within those companies play a role for making everybody's trip happier. And so, you know, I think everybody deserves that time of day. So definitely a people's person.
You and Kyle bring different strengths. What's your superpower in this partnership?
I'm the organizer of the group. Kyle is not an organizer, and that is fine. We all have different strengths. But I make sure everything, the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed in our itineraries, our bookings, airfare, all of that stuff. That is my purview in SafariSmiths travel.
When you're not out traveling and exploring the world, you're golfing. How does that fit in?
Yeah, you know, I love a challenge. So there's nothing like golf out there to challenge oneself. I find, to me, is probably the ultimate sport, because it's just you against you all the time. So it keeps me competitive with myself. It keeps me striving better, but then also fell in love with where all of these golf courses are. And yeah, just the beauty of these places that I've experienced already, and I just would love to show more people that. So the golf one, it's for that self-pushing to be better and achieve something. And then secondly, it's a really beautiful sport. So we get to experience incredible places playing golf, and then yeah, bringing that to the screen. I've had the opportunity to play some pretty unique golf courses across the world now, within Africa and North America actually. But the safari and golf goes really well. Here in South Africa, we have a really special golf course in the middle of the Kruger National Park, right by the main Camp Skakuza. And that golf course is actually completely open to all the wild animals. So you can have from lions to elephants to buffalo, rhino, whatever wanders across that golf course is there. So it really ties in that safari and golf element. And yeah, bringing that to the market is something that I really enjoy as well, because one, I get to go and experience that, and two, we get to showcase these incredible courses, as well as playing golf in Tanzania, right at the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro. It's spectacular.
What's your dream golf and safari destination? No limits.
No limits. I forget exactly where it is, but it's one of the Nordic countries, 24 hours a day. I think it's actually in Norway, where the golf courses are open till like midnight during the summers. So something like that would be really cool to experience, and to be out there, to be able to play sort of around the clock golf. Yeah, I think there's a couple. And then to definitely go and experience night golf in Asia. I think that would be really incredible. One, I haven't been to Asia yet, and the golf culture within Asia is booming and probably one of the biggest in the world again. And it's, yeah, the golf courses and so on really cater to some special occasions. So probably out of the Asian countries, my main goal would be to go to Japan to play golf. See, all I think about in Japan is food. I love the food in Japan. Like, I would do golf and food. If I had to do that trip, I'm doing golf and food.
Sustainability is often just a buzzword, but how do you actually make that part of the guest experience?
We actually like to choose camps that sustainability, people think of not using plastic straws and plastic bottles, but it's so much more than that. There is a part of sustainability that makes sure that the local communities benefit from the tourism. So we make sure that we work with companies that give back, whether it's through education, hospitals, or community centers within the communities to benefit the communities. It's not all about these companies getting big and profit. It has to go back to the communities, or wildlife won't be saved.
Do you have a most memorable moment on safari?
Yeah, I think one of my most memorable safaris we've done, just because it's so far away from what I've ever done, is when we went to Alaska last year, and we did the brown bears in Lake Clark National Park. We actually did that with Natural Habitat, which was unbelievable. From the plane landing on that small beach, taking off again when we left from a small beach, and this camp is just literally in this little bay, and there's nobody else there. There's nothing besides the little camp, the few guests that are in that camp, and having these bears come around camp. Like, you just see a bear. And then for me, that was incredible. And then one particular encounter for me on that safari was the pebbles and Roxy coming, and we being able to photograph them 10 feet away was amazing. And having them interact with each other, mother and cub, right in front of us. For me, to see bears like that after, yes, I know, seeing many lions and leopards, but for me personally, that's so far away from what I know, it was extremely memorable.
For me, I have a couple of memorable experiences. One was sort of in the beginning of my safari career, going up in a hot air balloon during the migration and flying over the Mara River very low in that balloon, and seeing all of the crocs looking at me and hoping and hoping that we didn't crash into the river. That was memorable.
It was a rough landing.
That was a very rough landing. And then another time in the central Serengeti, I believe it was in the central Serengeti, we were driving along and we came upon a pride of at least 20 or so, with just so many cubs and moms, and they were all just sleeping.
Lions, yeah.
Lions, yeah. Didn't I say lions? Sorry. The lions were all just sleeping in the tall grass, but the sheer number of that pride was very impressive. And that was also sort of in the beginning of my safari career, too. So I was very amazed by seeing that.
One of my most memorable sightings on African safari has got to be in the Masai Mara with Jackson from Timber by Jackson. We set out quite early one afternoon with chatter on the radio that there was a female leopard with really young cubs, and said female went and collected one of her cubs and carried it right in front of us up a road. I mean, we must have spent 20 odd minutes with her, just casually moving the cub in the road. So unbelievable for me. I'll never ever forget that, to be able to see that in a place that I always wanted to visit since I can remember. And I've been lucky enough to spend a number of safaris in the Masai Mara, and I think that one for me really stands out big time on safari.
That was definitely cool.
That was amazing.
To watch the mom take the cub from the old den site to the new.
Yep.
Pretty amazing.
If you have to sum up your philosophy on life with travel in a few words, what would it be?
Get out there and do it. That's about it.
How can your guests contact you?
I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok as I do social media for the company as the Wandering Golfer. I'm easy to contact there. The Wandering part is all the travel, and the Golfer is the golfing part. And then I'm also contactable at Kyle@SafariSmiths.com. So you can always get in touch there, but also don't forget on the website you can get in touch with us at SafariSmiths.com.
And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. My email is jen@SafariSmiths.com. We also have all of our Safari Smiths social media, so you can go there. So there's lots of different ways, or you can even just WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever. Is that it? We're done?
We're done.
Thank God.